Hey guys, Eric here from Fired Up Brews and Barbecues, and today I'm making my Game Day Chili. This stuff is awesome. I'm actually afraid to give you the recipe because it's that good. You're gonna wanna see this one. Stay tuned. So we're gonna make some homemade chili today, as homemade as you possibly can make it, other than the fact if you wanted to boil your beans, you could, but I'm using canned beans. But I've got fresh tomatoes from my mom's garden. I've got green peppers, I've got green onions, I've got jalapeno, habanero, fresh cilantro, onions, and the secret weapon, the secret ingredient is right here, baby. You're gonna wanna watch this video. This is a great recipe. Now, the secret ingredient, in my opinion, to a great chili is having some great meats, and I like smoking them first.
You know, the thing about smoking meat is that it takes a long time and you just end up sitting around for a while.
So today we're using, this is all from my local butcher. I've got ground beef, I've got some homemade pork sausage, and I have some homemade pork brats. These are cheese brats, all made from my local butcher. I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna put them on the smoker, the YS640, the Yoder, and smoke while I prep the rest of my stuff. I've got vegetables to cut. I've got to make my tomato base. All right, guys, so I'm gonna smoke the meat in this tin pan. It's real simple. So I got my ground beef, I got my pork sausage, I got my homemade brats, and I just kind of smash this down a little bit, give it a little bit more coverage so the smoke kind of covers as much meat as possible. I'm gonna put some seasoning on this and throw it right on the smoker. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of coarse black pepper, just a little bit right on top of everything, as much as you like. If you don't want pepper, you don't need it, but I just like putting a little pepper on there as a base. And then today I'm gonna use this Meat Church. This is called Holy Voodoo. Now it's kind of a sweet, spicy, it's not too hot or anything, but it's got sugar, paprika, it's got a little jalapeno, it's got dehydrated onion. So it'll be a nice, you know, simple, give it a little extra flavor for the chili base. We're just gonna apply this. You can put quite a bit on, be liberal, and just kind of get some seasoning on there. Later we'll probably flip it, but that's all we need to do. We're gonna throw it right in the smoker, get some smoked flavor on there. All right, guys, here's the Yoder YS640. You've probably seen this on the channel before. This is a pellet smoker, works really well. I'm gonna use this today. It's raining outside, so got this nice little coverage here. So even when it's raining, I'm always dry where I've got my smoker. It works pretty nice. So we're gonna smoke this at 200 degrees. I don't really want it very hot. I'm just trying to get smoke on it. Just gonna throw it right in the top rack like that. Close her up, let her smoke for probably 2-3 hours. Next, you want to prep your tomatoes. So you want to just, you know, get all this stuff off here, cut this off, take the stem off, core this out. A lot of people like to take the skins off of the tomato. I don't waste the time. I'm going to basically prep these, boil them in a pot with some water, and then I'm going to cut them up with the scissors, and that's going to be my chili base. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. Just stay tuned. So the tomatoes, you're just taking them and just cutting this right out like that, and getting that core piece out, that stem, and then this bottom piece here, basically just peeling this off. Anything that doesn't look good, just get rid of that. You don't want it in your food. Peel that off and then wash the tomato. That's what they're all going to look like, and then we're going to boil them in a pot with water. All right, guys, while you're prepping your tomatoes, get some water in a pan, a pretty decent sized pan. This has 10 cups of water, so if you're one that likes to measure stuff, this is 10 cups of water. Okay, I'm usually not much of a measurer. I'm much more of a cook than a baker. But I want to make sure, just in case you're looking for a gauge, this was a little bit over 4 pounds, and this is a little bit over 2 pounds. So we have about 6.5 pounds of fresh tomatoes, and you can see that I basically have cut off, you know, any of the stuff that doesn't look good. So you're gonna take 6.5 pounds of tomatoes, you're gonna mix it into 10 cups of boiling water. All right, guys, we've got 10 cups of boiling water. We're gonna add 6.5 pounds of tomatoes. Just drop them right in, and don't burn yourself. We're gonna let these boil for a while. Just put the lid on. What we're gonna do is come back, and I've got a little cheat code here. I'm gonna cut them up with the scissors. It works really well. You can do this however you want. If you wanna skin them, you can skin them. You know, you can put them in a blender, you can put them in a food processor, whatever works best for you. I'll show you my little trick that works really well, real simple. Stay tuned. All right, guys, our tomatoes have been boiling here for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. In the meantime, I was prepping some of the veggies, so you can see I cut everything up. These are going to be for toppings, so I like to have some jalapenos that are just sliced, and some green onions, a little bit of cilantro I save, and then the rest of the cilantro we're going to put in the chili. And the habaneros, I love hot stuff, but not everybody does, so this is going to be a topper. This stuff over here we're going to put in the chili. So we're going to do 4 of the jalapenos. We're going to do 2 green peppers. We're going to do about a half a bunch of cilantro. And then the other 3 jalapenos are over here, and the green onions, etc. The white onion I'm using as a topper. The rest of the onions are going to go into this mix that we're going to do in a minute. But while this is boiling, what you want to do is you can just take a scissors like this. This is a Cutco scissors, if you got any kind of cooking scissors, and just cut up these tomatoes. You're going to let this boil for probably a good hour and just constantly cut this. You want most of this water to come out of here, so it's going to take a little time to get some of this water evaporated. But just keep working on this and work on your vegetables while that's cooking. All right, while that's boiling, we can make our onion chipotle mixture. So these are canned chipotles in sauce, and they work really well for chili. I could probably even use more depending on how hot you like it. To me, this isn't very spicy. To some people it might be spicy, so you just have to adjust according to your taste profile. But my wife's family doesn't like hot, and they enjoy having a couple of cans in there. So give it a try and see what you think. We're gonna take the onions, we're gonna take these peppers, and I've got a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm gonna put that right in the food processor just to give it a little bit of liquid. And then you're gonna take all this stuff, put it in here, and blend it up. If you don't have one of these, they're a whole lot of fun, so I highly recommend it. Voila, that is gonna be an amazing chili base. Trust me, this is really, really good. Mixed with these tomatoes, try this. All right guys, this has been smoking for about an hour and a half. I have it at 225 right now. Just wanna flip it. The reason we're gonna flip it, we just wanna make sure that both sides get as much smoke flavor on the meat as we possibly can. So we're just gonna flip this over, put the lid back down, and let it smoke for another hour or so. All right guys, these tomatoes have been boiling and evaporating for a good hour, hour and a half. You want as much of that water evaporated out of there and get it nice and thick. That's gonna be part of your chili base, along with this concoction we made here. What we're gonna do is once all the meat is smoked, we're gonna take it off the smoker. We're gonna mix all this stuff here into one big stock pot, cook it for a little while on the stove, and then take it back out to the smoker. All right guys, I've got this big stock pot here, and it's actually gonna go right on the smoker as well. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take everything and we're gonna put it in the stock pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna mix. You can see you can use whatever beans you want. I've got some pinto beans, some dark red kidney beans, some black beans, a couple of chili beans with sauce, different heat levels. This is really all the store had left. So just whatever you wanna use is fine. 3 cans of red beans and a Great Northern bean. We'll do about half of this bottle of smoked paprika, about half of this chili powder. We're gonna do all of this. We're gonna throw some corn in there as well. I'm gonna mix all this in there. I'll be right back. All right, so your cilantro. So what that was right there, first little bowl was jalapeno, then green pepper, then cilantro. Secret ingredient, I'm gonna use some frozen corn. This is 1 pound, 8 ounces. You can use no corn if you don't like corn. You can use more corn, you can use less corn, whatever you want. I like a little bit of corn in there. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these are gonna be toppings over here. So this is all gonna be toppings for later when we serve. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna mix it all up. I'm gonna let it simmer. The meat's still smoking. We're gonna bring the meat back in. We're gonna add the meat to the chili, and we're gonna take this whole pot and put it on the smoker. All right guys, this is what it looks like before we had the meat and before we've smoked it. So this is just all the ingredients in one big stock pot. We're gonna bring this to a boil, kind of let it simmer while the meat is still smoking on the pellet smoker. 2 ounces of smoked paprika. We're gonna use about half the bottle, so use about 1 ounce of powdered smoked paprika. You can go more or less depending how much you like. You can see I used a little bit less than half of the bottle. The chili powder, we're gonna do the same. We can always add more later. Of course, you can't remove it, so it's better to add a little bit and not go too crazy. Let's add half of this for now. and we will see how it tastes later. We can always add some more. This is 1.9 ounces, so we're using about 1 ounce of chili powder. So this is what it looks like once you get the paprika and the chili powder mixed in. Now, if you're vegetarian, you can feel free just to use it just like this and not add the meat. But of course, today for me, I'm going to add meat. But in case you are a vegetarian, this is a great recipe to try out as well. All right, guys, it's time to take the meat off the smoker. Looks delicious, looks perfect. What we're going to do with the sausage and the beef, just break it up into smaller pieces. I'm just using a metal spatula. Just break it up in little chunks, break this all up, and we're going to throw it in the chili, and then we're going to bring the chili pot back out here and smoke the whole thing on the smoker. All right, I said in the beginning, what makes a good chili, in my opinion, is the smoked meat that's going to go into it.
You know, the thing about smoking meat is that it takes a long time and you just end up sitting around for a while.
So you've got your pork sausage, you've got your hamburger, and you've got your homemade brats. All this is from the local butcher. I just mixed, basically broke it into little chunks, best I could. You can make it small or big depending on what you like. I like a little bit chunkier in the chili with my meats. I'm just gonna dump that right into the chili, stir it up, take it out to the smoker. Oh yeah, guys, this is gonna be awesome. This stuff's so good. Like I've been doing this recipe for a really long time. You can tweak it how you like and make it hotter, whatever you want. Make it with meat, without meat, but I've done this probably 20 different ways. This is my favorite way to do it, but they're really all good. You can't really go wrong with chili. This is Game Day Chili. For us, it's football Sunday, NFL fans here. So we're gonna stir this up. We're gonna take it right out, back into the odor, pop it on, let it smoke for about 2 hours at about 200 degrees. All right, she fits in here absolutely perfect. I forgot to mention earlier, but for my pellets, I'm using apple wood today. You can use whatever wood that you'd like. That fits perfectly. We're gonna let that smoke, like I said, 225 degrees for another 2 hours. All right, guys, just took it off the smoker. You can see this is looking really good. I'm gonna give it a taste test. This stuff is just amazing. I can't even explain how awesome this is. This is the Game Day Chili. I'm gonna scoop a little bowl here, give it a taste, and I guarantee it's gonna taste good. All right, time to taste this chili. Smoked chili, guys. If you haven't had smoked chili, it's really good. It just gives it a different flavor. You can use a pellet smoker, you can use a stick burner, wherever you got. I'm gonna give this a try for you. It's really hot. I use apple wood. You can use whatever kind of pellet, whatever smoke flavor you want. But it just gives you a nice different flavor for game day. Game Day Chili, this stuff's amazing. You've got to try it. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back for more. Boom.